Please welcome Vice President of Security Strategy, IBM, Kevin Scapinets.
Thank you all, thank you. It's great to be here at RSA. Such positive energy already in the sessions and in the hallways, and I see lots of smiles in the audience as well. But let me ask you a question. How often do you reach your limits? Like, how often do you max out mentally? For me, I can feel the weight of work on a Friday afternoon, like many of you. I start on Monday looking a little bit like this, and by the end of the week, I feel more like this. And I'm ready to spend the weekend with my wife and 3 daughters who inspired this one-of-a-kind melting face emoji. Now, unlike the last keynote from Akamai, who did a fantastic job, by the way, I don't have AI-generated cyber jokes, but I do have human-generated emojis in this keynote, so there you go. But it's not just me. Your security teams max out too, all the time. All the time. 60% of security professionals, and that's a staggering number, 60% say that they've experienced burnout on the job. And 83% say burnout is leading to more data breaches and more security challenges. Now, I'm sure these stats, like, if we're honest, they're not surprising to anybody here, are they? This is something that we're all too familiar with in the security industry. And you think of the reasons why: constant stress, lack of control, long hours, limited resources. This is one of the many famous, asymmetric challenges in cybersecurity. On one side, you have an infinite number of threats. You have a seemingly infinite number of things to protect against. On the other side, you have a finite number of resources. And our teams are reaching their physical limits time after time after time. So let's take a step back and think about the physical limits of the human body. Our attention span, famously limited. It's like measured in seconds, and I know it's getting worse. The longest we can go without sleep, it's like a couple of days, and that's our limit. And then the memory capacity of the human brain is limited by the number of physical neurons that we have. Yet throughout history, despite those limits, we found clever ways to reach beyond them. We're more productive, we're more skilled, we're more informed about the world around us than our ancestors. Science, technology, medicine, all these things have helped us augment our natural capabilities. Which brings us to this very, very special moment in time: the introduction of artificial intelligence. We're unlocking what could be like the next great advancement, achievement, force multiplier that allows us to reimagine our human limits. And as I see it, this has 2 major implications for the entire security industry. Number 1, it'll transform how our teams work every single day. And number 2, it'll transform what we need to protect. So let's think about that. It'll transform how we work every day. Take a step back and think about the enormity of the problem that we're up against every single day. We're already dealing with a massive matrix of technologies, old technologies, new technologies, countless vulnerabilities and misconfigurations, human error, and all of that's living in highly distributed environments that operate 24/7. You place something like AI into that equation, and the matrix just blows up. Tasks that took months now take minutes. You have more code written, more apps deployed, more changes made. You have an attack surface that's not only expanding horizontally, but vertically too. And attackers are off to the races with AI. Now, I'm not here, spreading the FUD. It's not like they're using AI in every one of their campaigns. That's not the case. They still use tried and true tactics. But we do see evidence of attacks becoming more evasive, pervasive, and adaptive. So how do we deal with that problem? Well, if there's one thing that I've learned over the years, and this is my 17th RSA, 16 of them sitting in those seats right there, we can't retrofit last era's security technology to solve this next era's challenges. Some evidence of that, right? Firewalls, ineffective for the web era. We needed new layer 7 defenses that looked within traffic. Virtual appliances didn't really work out so well for the world of cloud. We needed new cloud-native defenses. Antivirus, Not so much against APTs in the APT era. We needed new behavioral-based defenses. In a world of AI, we need new AI-powered and AI-intelligent defenses to keep up. Now, the good news is we have a head start. AI in cyber, I promise you, is more than just a buzzword on the show floor. Quick example, IBM's been using AI to automate about 85% of security alerts for customers. We've reduced triage times by 55% in the first year of implementation, and that frees up a lot of human resources for higher value tasks, which is huge because it hits on that decades-old problem. But here's the problem. It's been hard to visibly see that progress, which is why we're so skeptical, or we have been skeptical about AI in this community, because it's been happening behind the scenes. AI is machine learning models that extend the limits mostly of our software. But that changed recently, hasn't it? Over the last year. The emergence of some very visible generative AI is extending not just the limits of our software, but of our people. It's helping analysts quickly understand complex security events that take place. It's automatically generating security reports and content and queries and policies. Again, that's great. It's all about productivity by putting more AI before the human decision-making, which is a game changer in this industry. Now, I've heard a lot of people say this, and I think there's a lot of truth to it, okay? I'm going to repeat it. In the future, we don't think that security professionals will disappear, but we do believe that the ones who don't use AI every day may. But like I said at the start of this, there's a second part of this that we can't overlook. AI is not going to change only how we work, but it's also going to change what we need to protect. So here we are at RSA 2024. This is our new mission. How do we allow business to use AI in a secure and responsible way? AI's got to be trained first, okay? And it's pulling on some very powerful data sources to deliver on its promises. Companies are training AI models on critical intellectual property, product designs, internal code bases, engineering logs. We're talking about highly proprietary data sets that have been for years tucked away behind our highest security systems, now moving to the surface, being hooked up to models, or actually even being trained and then encoded within files, within AI models that could fit on a thumb drive. Now, I don't know about you, but as a security professional, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. But I also am not naive. I know it's bound to happen. And while AI is aggregating and integrating crown jewels, it's also uniquely capable of actually creating new crown jewels. In some ways, prompts and responses become sort of a printing press of high-value data, massively expanding what we now need to protect. So as we push to these new limits, we also must secure them. But here's the bad news. We're not prepared, and we're not preparing fast enough. IBM and AWS, Amazon, yesterday published a new paper, a new study on securing generative AI titled What Matters Now? And what do we find? Generative AI is going to attach itself to every aspect of business, but business leaders have their concerns. 82% say secure and trustworthy AI is essential to the success of their business. And more than half are concerned with new risk arising from generative AI projects. Now watch the screen there. 82% say it's needed and essential, yet only 24% have secured or are working on securing their existing Gen AI projects. So again, our new mission for everyone in this room and everybody watching this that's not in this room, just as we as a community secured networks and servers, cloud and workloads, AI is the next new platform to secure. We must build security into AI and also the new data and application stack that it's revolutionizing. So how do we do that? This year, we introduced a new framework for securing Gen AI. It helps prioritize defensive approaches versus the likeliest attacks and risks with AI. Framework is pretty simple. It starts with an AI pipeline that looks like this. From left to right, you have your data collection and handling phase, then model development and training in the middle, and then inferencing and live use of AI. And then it unpacks how each stage becomes a potential target for new threats. Some of those threats are old, and some of those threats are new. For example, it'll show how sensitive data used to tune and train AI can be target for exfiltration. It'll show how supply chain attacks can introduce new vulnerabilities and hide malicious behavior. Think about all these new AI platforms and code bases and projects that are being used, and how model evasion and prompt injection attacks, new types of attacks, can generate misleading responses and even reveal sensitive data you didn't intend it to. So what do? We provide recommendations on how to approach securing AI. The advice is very simple. Sometimes in security, it's not complexity you need to secure things, it's simplicity. Our advice is simply you have to focus on securing the data, the models, and their usage. You got to work on protecting the underlying infrastructure because you have to start with a secure foundation. And lastly, kind of uniquely in this space, you have to think about governance throughout that entire life cycle. Not just a security problem, but a governance one as well, so you can control all aspects of that AI. And there's lots of new unknowns with AI and securing it, but these basic security building blocks remain the same. We're also investing, and I'm proud to say it, in a new class of AI defenses to help jumpstart those security efforts. Many are wondering in the audience, like, how do I discover unknown and unmanaged, what we call shadow AI, that's being used within my organization that might introduce new risk? How do we protect new AI models and sensitive data from being exfiltrated by insiders and third parties? And also, how do you remediate AI vulnerabilities and misconfigurations? These are new tools that are essential to, again, help business adopt AI in a secure and responsible way. So in summary, we're entering a world of seemingly unbounded limits. We need to both embrace those limits and manage those limits. We have the responsibility to protect our human limits, first, to avoid turnout and burnover in this critical industry. Number two, we have the ability to extend the limits and the limitations of our security capabilities to make our teams more productive. And lastly, we must start now to place limits around AI and to secure it. And most importantly, if we do this, we go from an industry that's facing this to maybe, just maybe, for once, feeling more like this. So look, there's no company for which securing AI is top of mind than IBM. We build AI models for customers. We build AI into the offerings we sell. We build them for ourselves too. There actually, if you're interested, there's some announcements about IBM open sourcing some of its foundation models today as well. So we're in the middle of this, and we have been for a very long time. So to help understand what it takes to place limits around AI, I'm joined by Rosa Bolger, Vice President and Distinguished Engineer at IBM, who leads the company's cyber defense strategy. Rosa, come on up. How are you?
So good to see you.
Good to see you. All right, Rosa, so good to see you here on stage.
Thank you for having me.
Pretty important topic, isn't it? Securing AI. So for many businesses, like I said, this is like a lot of new territory. But for IBM, who's been in this business for AI for a couple decades, this is not so new for us. So how has generative AI changed your security approach, and what's changed in your world in general?
Thank you for having me, Kevin. I think AI has changed everybody's world. It has become kind of maybe our virtual assistant. Next week, I'll be traveling, and AI will help me communicate verbally with the locals. It will also help me navigate the streets that I have never been before. Now, when it comes to the cybersecurity world where I live, I see lots of opportunity. I see a lot of tangible results that we can use, a lot of opportunity for my team to perform and detect and respond faster. So the future is bright when it comes to that. Now, I also see the threat side of it, because the factor of what matters has changed. I need to invest on our team knowing, number one, educating them. Number two, they need to understand the landscape, and they need to understand the threats at every stage of the model. Last but not least, they need to develop frameworks that will help us protect our models. So yes, it has changed, and it will continue to change. But overall, it's still, the baseline is the same.
Baseline's the same. Second question, we talked about data a bit in my keynote there. Data protection has historically been a complex challenge for everybody. But with AI requiring troves of data, it becomes a little bit more important, isn't it? So how are you thinking about approaching the challenge of data security in the world of AI?
Great question. So I worry about three things. For us to train the model and to tune it, we need petabytes of data. For example, IBM is using AI to convert COBOL to Java. There are petabytes of data. A lot of this data is actually confidential business information. Where before it was in a cocoon, well protected inside a network, now it's embedded in our models. How am I going to protect that? Two, I worry about the execution of our models. Many of the models are intellectual property. They shouldn't be accessed by many. So now I worry about access controls, application security, API security, very concerning. But the most important one, and one that we haven't discussed much, is what I call the model weights. If you open the model, you will find a lot of weights here and there that connects one neuron to the other, and it determines the strength and the direction. It really is the brains of the model. We need to protect that the model weights are not exfiltrated or stolen.
It's fascinating. You know, being in this industry for a long time, I mean, it always changes. That's why we love it. And who would have thought model weights or securing model weights would be on their RSA 2024 bingo card? Didn't expect that one. So next question here, securing AI framework. So the framework that we showed before highlights various stages of securing AI in the pipeline. What stage of that worries you the most?
So we have the training model, we have the developing model, and then we have the execution. Some AI models are used for very critical live situations. For example, MIT published a document where doctors are using today AI models to determine the most effective treatment for terminal ill patients. If I think of that, I cannot choose one stage. I must protect the model end to end. I do worry about the rapid but poorly controlled spread of AI. I also worry about the ungoverned use of AI. How many employees do we have that are using or entering confidential data in the wrong system, and for such, leaking confidential data? And then I worry about data mining or data manipulation. But for that, the good news is that if you combine watsonx, which is one of our products that does data governance, if you combine that with something like Guardium, now you're talking. Now you have a way to secure that space.
Yeah, and it's not just the active use of AI and the confidential information, but we also now have developers and people inside the organization creating their own AI as well across multiple clouds and the like. So it's certainly a tough problem. All right, last question here. A lot of the discussion is focused on that important topic of securing AI, but how do you think Gen AI is going to help the CISO's office improve cybersecurity inside of IBM?
So this one is one that gives me a lot of hope. I deal with the team, like you said, that day to day. I see the burnout. I see the fatigue. I see it Monday through Friday, not just Friday. But I do believe that there is a lot of opportunity there. How are we going to do that? What we're doing in my space, trivial stuff, we're using AI to analyze threats as well as vulnerabilities. We're using AI to summarize some of the threats so we can answer faster to the incident or contain it. And then the one that has given me the most benefit has been augmenting the data, augmenting a threat with relevant data. Less trivial, we're working in two models. One is to automate threat hunts. Imagine that. You just automate. You know there's a CV out there? You automate the threat hunt to look for the adversary. And the second one, which is the one that has me the most excited, is that we're starting to see the first capabilities of finding and fixing software vulnerabilities. That is huge. Imagine if our products can be self-healing.
That would be exactly what we want and what we need in this industry, right?
That's right.
Thank you, Rosa. Thank you for your insights, and thank you for being here with me today. And thank you all as well for spending time with us Just one sec. There's only so much detail that we can pack into a 20-minute keynote on this very important topic. So we have some IBM experts who have traveled here from across the globe to be here at RSA this week. Come find us, come engage in conversations. We're here to help, and let's get ahead of this one. Thank you.